Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Beautiful You Show. So today I am going to talk to you about mindfulness. And so I wanted to do the who, what, when, where, why, how questions of mindfulness. So I wrote some things down. So if you see me looking down, it's probably because I am looking at my notes. So I'll start with my own personal story with mindfulness. So I was working at a behavioral health hospital, and one of the modalities that we were doing was called dialectical behavior therapy. And what that is, it's a bunch of different things, but it really helps with people struggling with self-harm, people struggling with suicidal thoughts, people that are very reactive, have very reactive behaviors, people that don't know how to manage their emotions, their thoughts, and their feelings, people that have a lot of issues with their personal relationships. And so the modality is dialectical behavior therapy, and it is based, a big portion of that modality or therapy is based off of mindfulness. And so mindfulness is something that originated in the, I want to make sure I'm saying this correctly, the Eastern cultures. I want to say the Asian cultures. So they have been practicing mindfulness for years. And so what mindfulness is, it's a non-judgmental noticing. And so what you're noticing is you're noticing your thoughts, you're noticing your feelings. It's about being present. It's about being still. And the difference between mindfulness and meditation is you can be mindful anywhere while doing anything. And what that means is you can be mindful while you're washing your dishes. If you're being present on the task, if you're focusing on what you're doing, focusing on how you're feeling, focusing on what is going on in your body, you're being mindful. You can be mindful while you're having a conversation with someone. If you are present in the conversation and you're talking to someone and you're exchanging thoughts and you're practicing listening and you're not trying to look at your phone or watch TV or do something else. So mindfulness and meditation can overlap, but they don't necessarily mean the same thing. They're very, very similar, but you can be mindful anywhere. So let's start with the questions. What is mindfulness? Sorry, I think I answered that. Mindfulness is non-judgmental noticing. So what you're doing is if you're having a thought, it can be something as simple as, oh, a bird is flying. And then that's going to lead you to another thought. A bird is flying. I don't like birds. A bird once pooped on my car. And so a lot of times thoughts can be involuntary. They just happen real quick. They come frequently. They can move from one thought to the next thought. And so how you can be mindful with that, you can say, oh, I am noticing that I am having these thoughts. So when you're being mindful, you're also being the observer. You're not necessarily reacting to the thoughts. Or say if you are sitting and talking with someone, if you're being mindful with them, you're noticing what they're saying. You're noticing their tone of voice. You're noticing their body language. So you're present in the conversation. And so how mindfulness can help you is it can help you create a space between your thoughts, your feelings, and then your actions. And so maybe I've jumped ahead. Let's go back. So I told you what mindfulness is. It's not judging your thoughts, not judging your feelings, not labeling anything. You're not saying that's good, that's bad. You're just saying I notice. You're just building your awareness. You're being present. And when you're doing that, you're also not judging other people. You're not labeling other people. So the goal is to start with you and then hopefully extend that outward. Okay, so who can be mindful? Anyone. Anyone can be mindful. Children can be mindful. Adults can be mindful. Teenagers can be mindful. Seniors can be mindful. Anybody can be mindful. Anybody can build their awareness and create a space of non-judgmental noticing. When can you be mindful? You can be mindful anywhere. And I think I might have mentioned that before. As you're doing daily tasks, if you're in a conversation with someone, when your feelings are uncomfortable, when your feelings are enjoyable, when you're having a lot of thoughts, when you're worried about something, when you're happy about something, when you're driving in your car, when you're sitting on the bus or commuting or in class. You can be mindful anywhere. You don't have to be in a certain space. You don't have to be wearing a special outfit. You can be mindful anywhere. Okay, so I'll share with you where you can be mindful, which is anywhere. But where I like to be mindful, or where I like to practice mindfulness. So I do a meditation every single day. I've been doing that since January. January 1st, I told myself, okay, I want to be a practicing person of mindfulness and a practicing person of meditation. So again, I worked at a behavioral health hospital, and I was sharing with the groups how beneficial mindfulness is and the reason you should be mindful. And although I was increasing my mindfulness, I wasn't necessarily always practicing mindfulness. I didn't have a daily mindful practice. And so I wanted to have congruency with that. I wanted to not only be talking about it, but I also wanted to be more mindful. And so starting this year, in the beginning of the year, I started practicing mindfulness. And so what I would do is not only being more mindful and aware of what I'm thinking, what I'm saying, how I'm reacting to things, but I also wanted to incorporate meditation into that. So I have a little area in my room, and what I do is I usually turn on, I use my favorite app. I'll share that with you. So I've used several apps to practice mindfulness meditation, and they're really good apps. One is called the Calm app, and then one is, I think it's called Think, Breathe, something else. But the best one that I found so far is this one. And sorry, there's gonna be a glare from the front window, but can you see it? Let me go out of it. So it's right here. Is it? And it's called the Insight Timer. And so how I use this is you click on the app. First you have to download it. You click on the app and it will go to this page. This is the home page. And so I click over here. Sorry if you can't see that. The sun is bright. I'm trying to use the light. But you click on over here and a whole bunch of different, let me see if I can turn the camera if that makes a difference. a whole bunch of different meditations will come up right there, and it gives you the choice. And so I choose this one, and it's called, it's called guided meditation. So I like a guided meditation where somebody is talking. They're usually talking. You can find a whole bunch. And so they have different options. You can go from 0 to 5 minutes, 6 to 10 minutes, 11 to 15 minutes, and so on, depending on how much time you have, and how long you want to be meditating for. And so I usually click on one. So today, just to show you, I clicked on the 6 to 10, and so a whole bunch of these come up, and you get to choose. Do you want to do a morning meditation? Do you want to do a meditation about peace, about loving kindness? Do you want to do a meditation to help ease anxiety? Do you want to do a meditation to help give you more rest? And so I like to do it as part of my getting ready routine. So if I have to go to work, or if I'm going somewhere, or even just for the day, I like to take a shower and then I do meditation. And so another thing I like to do is I like to burn a candle. It kind of helps with the aroma. It has a really nice scent. And then I also put this on. So I am not, fluent is the best way I could say it. I'm not fluent in the essential oils. Resurgence, everybody that I know is into essential oils, but my friend happened to share this lotion with me. It's called the doTERRA Deep Blue Rub, and I just loved it. The smell reminds me of if Vicks and Bengay had a baby. It has like that eucalyptus peppermint type of smell. So what I do is I squeeze some out, I rub it in my hands, and I like to put it on this area. And so when I breathe in, I just feel like I breathe deeper. I breathe not necessarily cleaner. What is the better way of saying it? I just feel like my breathing is less restricted. And so I do that. I do a meditation. I work on my breathing. And while I am meditating, I have thoughts coming in and out. And what I do is I just sit with it. I don't try to tell myself that's a bad thing. I shouldn't be thinking about that. I just sit and I practice noticing. So sometimes I'll have thoughts of what I need to do later that day. Sometimes I'll have thoughts of a conversation I've had with someone, and I just allow it to come. I notice it, I be aware of it, and then I go back to my breathing. And so breathing is essential when you're practicing mindfulness and you're practicing meditation. It's all about breathing in, and there's a physiological response that happens when we are taking a breath. So that helps with being mindful. And so one of the benefits of mindfulness is it just helps to create a bigger space between your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. So you might have thoughts, and they might be negative or they might be positive. And so it helps you be less, oh my goodness, I am forgetting the word. It starts with an I. Anyways, it's when you have a thought and then boom, you act on it. You don't offer it space. You don't think about it. Impulsive. That's the word. So it just helps create a space between what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and your behaviors. And so for me, what I've noticed that even though I might not always be able to change my behaviors in the moment, there still is an awareness. So if I'm having an argument with someone, I might be able to create a bigger space between what I say and what I'm feeling. But if I'm not, somewhere in there, there's an awareness that says, whoa, let's look at that. What's going on there? Why is that happening? And so it's helped me to really build my awareness of the thoughts that I'm having. And even like if I'm having a thought. And so I know for women, around certain times of the month, we get more sensitive, we get more irritable, we get more emotional. And so how mindfulness has helped with that is I can even be aware with that. I can say, oh, okay, I notice I am getting more irritable. What is going on? Let me look at that. And instead of, telling myself I'm stupid, I'm dumb, or you shouldn't be thinking or feeling that way, I just say, oh, okay, I'm noticing it. Okay. And just building my awareness. One day, so I'll share a story with you of how the best way I think I can explain how mindfulness has helped of myself. So I was standing in line and I was at a store. There was an older gentleman in front of me. He was having technical issues. And so in my head, all these judgments started coming already. He's older, he's having technical issues, it's going to take a long time, he's not understanding what the clerk is saying. And so these thoughts are just coming. And what I was able to do while I was standing there, I was able to recognize that I don't need to, that I have the ability to stop and become aware. And so as I was standing there, I could feel myself getting more irritable. And I kept feeding myself, fueling the irritability with the thoughts that I was having. Oh my goodness, it's going to go on forever. The cashier is trying to tell him he needs to go check this out with someone else. He's not understanding that. He's wanting her to do something else. And so I was noticing that I could either stand there, continue having these thoughts and fuel the irritability, or I could stop and I could use this time that I was having waiting to be mindful. And so it was literally up to me if I wanted to be there and be fueling my irritability and continue being irritated, frustrated, or I could take a breath and I could just be mindful. I could be aware of the thoughts that I was having. And what happened is when I became mindful, I started feeling compassion towards this older gentleman. And it turned from me being irritated with this person that I didn't know to wanting to help the person just from being mindful. And I was having the thoughts of, gosh, I wish he had a grandson or a granddaughter that could say, oh, let's look at this. Let me go into your computer. Because I bet if he did have that, he wouldn't have been at the place of business that he was to begin with. He would have somebody that could show him, and I think he was having an email issue. He could have somebody that could show him how to work the computer or to check it out. And so the ultimate solution that the cashier came up with was he needed to go down to the store that is probably about half an hour, 30 minutes from where we were, which is a very busy store. And now he has to get an appointment. They have to look at it. So had I not been practicing mindfulness, would that have happened? I don't know. But I know that I have been practicing mindfulness, and it has happened, and it has made a difference. And so there's tons of resources out there about mindfulness. A lot of people think that mindfulness is a religion, and it is not a religion. It is a practice that a lot of spiritualities, religions do. There's centering prayer that maybe Christians do. There's meditations and chantings that Buddhists do, monks do. But it's not necessarily a religion. And so for a long time, I myself was apprehensive about practicing mindfulness or learning about meditation because I just associated it with a religion. And what I've noticed as I've gotten older, as I become more mature, is that it really is about what is going on within you. And that is everything, really. Most of our world exists in our mind. Our thoughts, our feelings, most of it is happening within us. How we are thinking, how we are feeling, and then how we in turn act on those thoughts and those feelings. And so what I've come to notice with mindfulness is that it just helps create a space. It helps create a buffer. It helps me take a step back and say, ooh, let me check this out. Let me look at this. Am I fueling happy thoughts? Because it's the same energy. Am I feeling thoughts that make me feel good? Thoughts that help me create better relationships? Or am I fueling negative thoughts, irritable thoughts, thoughts that are going to have me have negative outcomes? And so I love it. When I don't practice mindfulness, so I would say my goal is to always be mindful. That would always be my goal. But I'm still a beginner. Even though I meditate daily, I'm still a beginner. I'm still someone that is just in the beginning stages of noticing her thoughts. But it has made a huge difference. The goal would be that, just like the situation with the man in the store, for me to go immediately to compassion. That would be my goal. And I'm working on that. But so far, it has made a difference. It doesn't take a lot of time. As I showed you on the app, the Insight Timer app, and I am not associated with Insight Timer. It just happens to be an app that I have come to love because of its variety of meditations. But you could totally choose. It only takes a second to be mindful. It only takes a second to take a breath and create a space, a buffer between what you're thinking and you're feeling. And so I love it. If you're thinking about it, there's a lot of videos online about mindfulness. John Kabat-Zinn is one of the more popular ones. He does a body scan meditation. He has several videos on YouTube. There's apps that can help you with being mindful. And you can be mindful doing anything. When I was working at the behavioral health hospital, I had the groups of teenagers. I would have them listen to a song and write down all the lyrics just so that they were focusing and being mindful on the song. I would have them write with their left hand. So you can decide and you can choose how you want to be more mindful. There's no wrong way to be mindful. There's no right way to be mindful. You choose how best it fits you, as long as it's enhancing your life. But there's a lot of information out there on the internet, if you have any more questions. Also, you can put a comment below. I will answer any questions that you may have. So I hope, just to wrap it up, I'm just going to say it again, just for myself, in case I blabbered on and I forgot to get to the main point. So what is mindfulness? It's non-judgmental noticing. It's being present. It's being aware of your thoughts, your feelings, what's going on inside your mind, what your body is experiencing, any thoughts you're having, any feelings you're experiencing, and what else? And breathing. Breathing is super important. So just taking deep breaths. Who can practice? Anyone that can breathe can practice mindfulness. Anyone can be aware of their thoughts, their feelings, their actions. Anyone can notice. When you can be mindful anywhere at any time. Talking to someone as you're doing a task, as you're doing a chore, as you're doing nothing. You can be mindful anywhere. Oh, shoots. When? Yeah, you can be mindful anywhere. And so, where? Again, you can be mindful anywhere. You can be mindful at any time. I like to do it when I'm getting ready because it's part of a routine. And as I'm getting older and noticing that I'm liking routine a little bit better, I like a little bit more structure. It just helps ease anxiety. And why? Why be mindful? It enhances your life. It helps you connect better to yourself. And that's super important. When you are paying attention and being present to what is going on inside your mind, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, it helps with your behaviors. A lot of this life that most of us live is spent avoiding. We don't like pain. We don't like to be uncomfortable. We don't like not knowing. And so mindfulness helps create that space that those things can happen within. Noticing, paying attention. So that is my why. And I encourage you to find out for yourself. See if this is something that could be helpful for you. And that's it. I could talk about this on and on. Mindfulness is really simple. It really is. You don't need anything special to be mindful. I just happen to enjoy lighting a candle. I enjoy using the rub. I wanted to get a Tibetan singing bowl, they call it. I couldn't find one I liked, so I got these things. I don't know what they're called, but you just, yeah, it makes that sound. And that sound is very soothing for me. Some of the guided meditations, you'll hear different sounds, but you don't need any of that. You could just sit, pay attention to what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and you're being mindful. So you don't need anything special. It's free. Mindfulness is free, but the benefits are amazing. And so that is all I got. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions or want to ask me anything, just comment down below and I will get back to you. Thank you again for joining me. And I'm still trying to figure out a tagline, but right now it's beauty is all around you. So I'm just going to keep going with that until I figure out a better one. But thank you. Bye-bye.